Uncle Mark here again, just with another project. It's summertime and my air conditioner is plugged full. Can't believe it. The wife says, you should check it and clean it. I was thinking it's not dirty, but yeah, it is for sure. So the first thing I need to do is just shut off the power to it. I'm going to turn the breaker off here in the sub panel in the house. And there's a bunch of these little screws. I guess they've got nut heads on them. Need to take them all off. I've had this apart before. This is the second time I'm taking it apart. I had it apart a couple years back, and not as complicating as you think. Now, all these little ones hold everything together. The top, I'm just going to lift up but leave it where it is. I'm not going to take these 4 screws off at the top that hold this top to the fan. It can just kind of float there. Now, this box actually has a major, I guess you want to call it a breaker. It doesn't actually snap, but it's a big switch, and there's a little screw. Sometimes you might have a lock on there. That'll give me access to this switch, I guess I'm going to call it. It's got like a T-handle on it. Let's give it a quick pull straight towards me, and all the contacts come out, and there, as you see, now for sure, even if somebody turned the breaker back on, I'm not going to get either electrocuted or worse, have the fan turn on and get cut up. This is, for mine, they're actually a 1/4 inch, I believe. Let me take a look here and zoom in. Zoom in. 1/4 inch. And they're not in very tight, so pretty easy to take out if you have the right socket and some kind of a ratchet, or I'm just using this handle. I don't know how many are holding this whole thing together. Quite a few of them, but that's what they look like. I'm going to put them in a cup or something and look at how much dirt's here. This thing would not be able to suck and cool for sure. It's like fluff. It looks like a filter. So what it is, I took my shop vac and I started vacuuming it out first, going up and down. I'm trying to work up and down with the fins. I don't want to bend them. They're very easy to fold over, and then, it's not going to cool as well. Make sure I get all the stuff at the bottom as well. But as you can see, it's pretty dirty. And then, like I say, I don't know if this is 2 years or 3 years. I guess I should do it every year. And it's in clumps. Oh, got my little dog helping out as well. So I tried to just pick off the heavier stuff, which I didn't really need to do because the vacuum did a good job. And as you can see, vacuum as much of it off as I can, just gently. Don't want to bend these fins. You can see they're very, very light. Once I got it all clean, I'm going to use some of this evaporator stuff. I'll put a link in the description. I bought a bunch of cans of it, and basically what it does is it'll get rid of the rest of the dirt in there, and it shoots pretty straight. I guess then you can get inside. It looks like if I got a little closer, it would foam up a little better. What it'll do is it'll get the dirt out, dissolve it however it does that, and it doesn't even have to be rinsed. So I went around, I probably used 1.5 cans on this, or would have used 1.5 cans. I kind of chinsed out and just used 1 can. Got it all back together, put all the nuts back in, and then I have to turn the breakers back on. So of course I'll put this, I don't know what you call this. It's not really a breaker, but somebody will correct me on what it's called. Take a big switch, plug it back in, close the door on this, then put either the lock or screw back in that's holding it together. It's a safety switch anyway. Get the screw back in there, and then I'm going to go back in the house, flip the breaker back on, and it should be fine. It should cool for the summer for sure. And what I'm going to do next summer or spring is make sure I check this before I get it going. Should be way more efficient this year than it was last year at cooling. Well, that's it. I've got her done, and it didn't take very long. Under an hour. I bet you half an hour. It probably took longer for me to film it. I suggest that you try this stuff, though. And, well, if you don't try it this year, maybe try it next year. Figuring 1.5 cans will be probably good for one time. I was kind of cheap, and I just did the 1 can. I thought, I don't know why, but I've got quite a few more cans. I bought it in bulk. I'll put a link in the description where I got it from. If you like the video, please give me the thumbs up. It helps YouTube know that, well, some of the stuff's actually worth watching. You can subscribe down in the corner as well. I usually do automotive repairs. That's more my kind of hobby. And I will put a link right up here above the circle where the flashing arrow is to a playlist of some other home kind of things that'll go along in a playlist. Until next time, you and your family stay safe. If you haven't checked out the channel before, check the whole channel out. And I will see you again. Bye-bye from Uncle Mark. Please subscribe, and you'll get all the notifications. It's easy. The little dog will show you how. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. But I'm too, what's the word? That's not going to work. Let's try that again.